Okay, okay, I know what you're gonna say. I wasn't gonna tell you how I did my bricks, but I lied. So, let's see if I can find my knife, which I put back here. All right, so here's how I do the bricks. You see these horizontal lines that go across here. These lines I do, I just take my, my little square here, and I draw those lines across with a razor blade. About every half inch, you know, just over a half inch, just under a half inch. I'm not real particular about how far I do. I alternate it on every side, except for this side, apparently. But I make them sometimes bigger, sometimes smaller. And what I do then is I go back with my X-Acto blade, and I just lightly score it in just the most random ways possible, okay? And I don't pay much attention or think too much about how I'm doing it, mostly because if I do that, then I'm going to screw it up, right? This is a very Zen activity. We want to make sure that we're maintaining the Zen aspect of the crafting, right? So, so that's what I'm doing. I'm keeping it Zen. I'm keeping it thoughtless. I'm just doing without worrying too much about the doing. So I keep doing that all the way down and around. And, you know, I change it up. I don't want any of these lines getting too regular or too square or too this or too that, because I want it to look like stacked stone, you know, stacked stone bricks. You know, maybe the bricks are, you know, carved to be relatively rectangular or whatever, but I don't want them to look too, you know, too nice or too tidy. So I just keep doing that all the way down. Then what I'm going to do afterwards is I'm going to take this trusty, lovely Aught9 Pentel mechanical pencil. It's an architect's pencil. It's very, very nice. I love these things, right? And I love this because it's wide enough that it gives me a lot of push when I put it through this stuff. I'm just going to go and outline these things, okay? Just like this, just going to go through them. And what that does is it gives them a little bit of texture. It gives them a little bit of depth, right? Pops out these grout lines. Makes them look bigger, okay? And then for texture, 1 second. I'm gonna go and get my trusty foil balls. I got a couple different sizes here, just depending on the application, but all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this thing like this, and I'm gonna smash the hell out of this. I'm just gonna smash the hell out of it. These things can take quite a lot of pressure, so I'm just gonna go to town on this thing, right? And after I do that, I always go back over it with this thing to just kind of reinforce those lines. And all that does is just gives me more to play with. Ooh, and sometimes it crumbles like that because I have used a dull knife. So if you end up getting these like divots, you see how this looks like dotted lines right in there? That's because you have a dull blade, right? That's going to happen with this foam. Sometimes it doesn't like to cut if it doesn't have a very, very sharp blade. So you always, when you're cutting with this stuff, make sure you're using a very sharp blade. This one looks sharp, but it's not. Okay, it's not sharp enough. So just make sure that you get a fresh blade in there. I'm going to go pop this one out, but you get the drift, right? So I'm going to go by and I'm going to draw these lines. I'm going to cut them out with this, and then I'm going to go back with the aluminum foil, and I'm going to texture it nice and deep. Then I'm going to go back and widen the lines with the pencil, and that is how we do our texturing. Okay? This has been a Secret Stash episode. Whatever you do, don't tell your friends.